In a time when social distancing has become a necessity and the new normal, we love that travel brings us all together. While physical travel may be on the back burner at the moment, we thought we would share some of our travel world with you. When you are ready to travel again, we at AAA will be ready to assist you. I hope you enjoy this selection of travel videos.
Hello and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today. Here at AAA, we know that planning a trip to Disney World can be quite confusing, if not even overwhelming. So today we thought we would break down a topic which may have you wondering exactly what services does Disney World offer for guests with disabilities. Before we jump into our agenda for the day, I would like to introduce myself and put a face with a voice. My name is Shelley Eastmer, and I've been with the AAA for almost 27 years. I'll admit it, I'm a self-proclaimed Disney fanatic. I've been to Disney more times than I can count. And over the years, I have found myself to be the go-to person within our offices for when somebody is unable to answer a Disney question. So let's go ahead and get started. The following disabilities are what we are going to be talking about today: hearing, visual, mobility, cognitive, and we also are going to be talking about service animals. I'm going to go over these on a very high level just to get the information out to you so you know what is available to you. But please know that if you want further information, you can always reach out to your travel consultant. So we are going to start by talking about hearing disabilities, and I want to put these into two different buckets when we are talking about hearing disabilities. I want to talk about first the resorts and then also the parks. So let's first talk about the Walt Disney World resorts, and these encompass all of the on-site properties that Disney owns and operates. Each of these properties have different amenities that can be put in your rooms to help with clients with a hearing disability. Some of these include door knockers, phone alerts, phone amplifiers, bed shaker notifications, as well as strobe light fire detectors. Again, all of these are available at all of the on-site Disney resorts. We just need to know so we can alert Disney in order to make sure that you get those. Now let's also talk about Walt Disney World parks and what is available to you there. There's a couple different options. The first we're going to talk about is a handheld captioning device. This is a portable system that guests can utilize that will display text on the screen. Also, the parks offer video captioning. Now, these video captioning can be found on select monitors throughout the park in different attractions and would be designated by that CC symbol that you're probably very familiar with. Also, referring back to that handheld device I just mentioned a couple minutes ago, that device also has the ability to be activated and have video captioning as well. So should you wish to have video captioning on that handheld device, be sure you check with guest services to get one of those. Finally, I want to talk about sign language interpretation. Each of the parks within Walt Disney World offer sign language interpretation on different days of the week. And although it's subject to change, as of right now, it is available in Hollywood Studios on Sundays and Wednesdays. It's available in Magic Kingdom on Monday and Thursdays, at Animal Kingdom on Tuesdays and Saturdays, as well as on Friday, it's available in Epcot. Now also, if you're vacationing in Disney, you very well may want to be going to one of the many dinner shows that they offer. I'm happy to share that with 14 days advance notice, sign language interpretation is available at either the Hoop-de-Doo Review or the Spirit of Aloha dinner show, which is available over at the Polynesian Resort. Again, sign language interpretation available at all of the parks, but on different days. And it's also can be available with advance notice at a couple of the different dining options. I now want to jump over to guests with visual disabilities and talk about what's available at each of the parks. Now, I mentioned the handheld device, and that handheld device will also assist guests who have a visual impairment as well. That device can provide audio by describing the visual events around it. So if you are interested in that handheld device and you have a visual impairment, please know you can also visit guest services and utilize this device for that. There are also a series of different Braille opportunities as well. At all of the parks, you can obtain a Braille guidebook. Now, this guidebook will describe the rides and attractions within the parks. There's also a map, and this is a tactile map that will describe the landmarks, the walkways, and the boundaries within the parks. There are also stationary Braille maps, and these are available at guest services, not only in the parks, but you can also find at Disney Springs and ESPN. And then finally, there are Braille menus at the restaurants. So be sure to ask your server if you are in need of a Braille menu. Now, please keep in mind, all of these handheld devices that I've mentioned to you before and these amenities that Disney offers may come with a refundable deposit. Currently, that deposit is $25, but as you check with guest services, they'll be sure to alert you how much that cost is, and just know that it is refundable. So when you return that device, they will refund your money. Let's move on to guests with mobility disabilities. I do want to mention that in all of the parks, as you enter right at the entrance, you will have the ability to pick up park guides. And with these park guides, there are special ones, and you will see, as you notice on the screen in front of you, they have a banner at the top that alerts you that there are special guide maps available for guests with disabilities. You'll want to be sure to pick one of these up as you enter into each of the parks. Now, as you are going through each of these guides, you're going to notice different icons that will help guide you and understand what rides have mobility restrictions. So, for instance, these icons that you see in front of you will be on these guide maps, and they will alert you whether or not you must stay in a wheelchair, if you must transfer, again, from a wheelchair to the ride vehicle. So again, if you look, it will provide you with descriptions and provide you guidance as to which attractions will be easy to maneuver around. I also want to talk about services available to guests with cognitive disabilities, and these do include guests with on the autism spectrum as well. Some of these services include advanced ticket purchase, so you don't need to stand in line, stroller and wheelchair rentals, as well as strollers as wheelchairs. It also will talk about ride switches, utilizing the ride switch program, utilizing the DAS card, which will help with accessing attractions, where you can go for special break areas just to get away from all of the hubbub and busyness of the parks. Also, there are their companion restrooms, helpful guides for attractions and resort experiences, as well as dining accommodations. Before we talk about the DAS card that I mentioned on the previous screen, I want to go into a little more detail on services for guests with disabilities when you are staying at the resort. I did mention this earlier in the presentation, but again, I want to just circle back and mention a couple other things. Now, of course, all of the Disney on-site properties, they do have wheelchair accessible rooms. So should you need a wheelchair accessible room, please make sure you make your agent aware of that. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, the hearing accessible are available to you as well. There are also paths, special paths available from the lobby area to the guest rooms to restaurants, shops, meeting areas. So you can easily get around with your wheelchair if you would like to walk between. I mentioned service animals as well. And just know that service animals are welcomed both at the resorts and at Disney parks. And at both the parks and the resorts, there are relief areas for your animals. Finally, parking is complimentary for those that have a visible, valid disability parking permit hanging from their car. So Disney does have parking fees associated, but if you have a parking permit, a visible disability parking permit, that will be waived. So just be aware of that. And then, of course, they do also have designated parking areas for you as well. Finally, I mentioned before the DAS card, the Disability Access Service. And I want to talk a little bit more about this, as this is something that you may or may not be aware about that Disney offers. Disney parks have an unwavering commitment to provide a welcoming and inclusive environment and access experience for our guests. As part of this commitment, the Disability Access Service is a tool provided at the Walt Disney World theme parks to enhance the service provided to our guests with disabilities. So what exactly is the DAS? This is a special tool that you can get when you arrive at the parks. Now, when you arrive your first day at Disney, you will want to visit guest services and ask them about the Disability Access Service. Should they deem that you are eligible for it, they will provide you this DAS pass. This pass is something that you will present to the cast members when you want to ride an attraction. What you will do is you will visit that attraction and present your desk to the cast member working. At that time, the cast member will alert you a time that you can return back to the attraction so that you may visit and proceed through the line quickly. Now, the good news is, once you've got that time, you are able to return and free to experience other attractions, other characters, maybe go grab a bite to eat, and just basically enjoy the park. And when that designated time approaches, you may return back to the attraction and alert the cast member that you are back. They will then allow you to access the ride through the Fast Pass line, again, bypassing a long wait for you. These times are available up until park closing. So I know that there was a lot of information provided today, and it was pretty high level. If there's any areas that you would like more information on, or you're interested in planning a Disney vacation, I encourage you to reach out to one of our very knowledgeable Disney agents. All of our agents specialize in Disney destinations and have taken the College of Knowledge program, and so they are very well equipped to be able to assist you in planning a memorable vacation. To reach out to one of our agents, you can call us at 1-800-937-1222. You can visit us on AAA.com by clicking www.aaa.com/Disney, or you may visit one of our local branches and ask to be assisted by one of your Disney specialists. Thank you very much for joining us today, and have a magical afternoon.